Hi, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about thought bombs. I know that sounds a little crazy, but a lot of times the reason why we don't stay in higher, creative, happy thoughts is because sometimes we start thinking a thought that just kind of explodes in your mind. And this thought is usually negative and is usually a thought you have thought many, many times and probably highlights your wounds, your the things that have hurt you the most throughout your life probably started in your childhood. So I see what happens in myself and I see what happens with other people when these thought bombs go off. I mean, they can take us down within 2 seconds. So we have to be really, really mindful of them and preventive of them, so that we don't get stuck in them. Because again, we want to live in these higher creative, spiritual thoughts, and the only way to live in them is to be able to really soothe these other thoughts when they do come in. I mean, we can't always be happy every second of the day, but we can work towards always staying in that positive mindset. And that's really, really important because it helps us recover much quicker from these thought bombs. I have seen my clients get stuck in these thoughts for weeks, months, and it's like they're trapped. They're trapped by the thoughts and then the feelings. And then when you get trapped in those bad thoughts and those bad feelings, the outside world just keeps confirming them. So it's like it's a catch 22. You can't get out. It's like quicksand. And we all have them. Whether it's around not feeling good enough, whether it's around our relationships. If we feel like we've upset somebody or hurt somebody, we start to feel really bad about ourselves. You know what yours are because it usually is the things that you think about the most, and it's the things that make you feel the worst most often. So if it's around, if you don't have a relationship, so you're feeling kind of always lonely and always rejected. So then you're always creating those lonely, rejected states because that's where you're living in mostly. So we have to be really, really careful when we know we're heading towards that kind of a thought that's just going to explode and take you down. And, it's just no fun. It's no fun to feel so bad. And we don't deserve to feel so bad. So the angels really try to help me out of them really quick when I get in them, when I get really like, disappointed in myself or not feeling good or mistakes that I may have made or whatever it is that I'm dwelling in that's more negative. They really, really try to help me get out of that much, much quicker. And I've gotten much, much better. I don't stay in those thoughts very long. But when I see my clients get stuck in them, it's really hard to watch them be stuck in them, and it's hard for me not to want to talk them out of it. But you really can't. So this is my suggestion when a thought bomb does go off, and they will, because they have with me and continue to, is that you want to kind of nurture your feelings. Thich Nhat Hanh, I don't think I'm saying the name right at all, but he wrote Peace in Every Step, and he's wonderful. He's the mindfulness person, and he works so much on mindfulness. So I would look up that book, Peace in Every Step, because it's a fantastic book, and it's a great book on how to deal with your feelings. And his take on dealing with your feelings is very similar to mine, in that he says that when you have bad feelings, when you start thinking those thoughts and they start creating those feelings, you have to attend to them. You can't just say, all right, I have to think positively, because the bomb went off and you're left with all the debris. You have to pick it up and you've got to nurture yourself. So when that happens, with love and compassion, you have to kind of go through your feelings and say, okay, what thought was I thinking that led to this feeling? What is it that I'm feeling? And it's okay that I'm feeling this, and let me feel it and let me look at it. And is there anything that I can do to make myself feel better? And to really nurture your feelings like a mom would nurture a crying baby. That's what you want to do with your feelings. With love and compassion, you want to just really, really help yourself out of your bad feelings. But you do have to feel them a little bit. And they often have a story. Our feelings have a story of, of our past hurt or our past disappointments. Whatever it is, our feelings need us to listen to the story and to hear it, and then to nurture it like you would a baby, or a child. You would sit them down and say, "Tell me how you feel, what's wrong," and then together you work through the feelings, and then they disappear. If we just attend to our feelings, we can let them go quicker. If we don't attend to them, then we're trying to push them away, and they keep coming back at us, and we push them away, and they keep coming back at us. It's sort of like, they keep ricocheting at us, because when you don't really attend to them in that way, like you would a child or a baby, they won't go away. They persist. So, in some ways, you really do have to feel them and nurture them. And I always tell my clients, you have to give yourself high levels of TLC. And, just keep trying to have compassion for yourself that you feel this way, and understand why you feel this way. Understand why you might be feeling upset or disappointed or whatever it is. Understand it, and then once you really feel like you get it, you understand where these feelings are coming from and why you're having them and what they've triggered in you and how often you get triggered in this exact same way. I mean, when I work with clients, they really, it's usually one theme that they have that keeps getting re-triggered and re-triggered, maybe two themes, but it's always the same theme. And that theme, once I point it out to them that, this is that theme again, that you don't feel like you're good enough, and that you don't feel like you count, or you don't feel like people are listening to you, that's that theme again, then that can kind of help them out of it a little bit quicker, and help them to understand that a lot of times our feelings are coming from the past wounds. So I always say to people, it's 75%, the past, and 25% now. So that also kind of helps give you a little perspective when you get in those really bad feelings, not to take them as facts, because even though what we feel is true, it's not a fact of who we are. We really have to challenge that. So you nurture your feelings so that you can understand yourself and understand what your theme is and what's going on for you and why you keep thinking these thoughts, so that you can let them go. That's the goal, is to let them go. Because 9 out of 10 times they're not true. That it's not true about you, and it's not true about your life, and it's not true about what you can create. We play very small in our lives. I remember reading a book by Marianne Williamson, and she said, many of us are not starring in our own lives. And that really resonated with me, because it was like, that felt really true. We want to be the stars in our own lives. And that's not in a narcissistic way. That's just in a happy way, that we can be the stars in our lives. So it's important for us to be able to nurture these really bomb thoughts and feelings that take us down, nurture ourselves through them so that we can release them, and then we can get back into those higher, better feeling states from which we can create from. And the more we get out of the negative and back into the positive, you start creating this world of positivity around you. And then that becomes very reinforcing. And you start to really get it, that this really does work. And this is what's really going on. And, when I wake up and I'm in a bad place, I'm like, uh-oh, I know this is going to be a problem, because I know what it could manifest in my life. And I really don't want to manifest negative things. So it's really important to me to keep myself in a really good state. And I'll joke with people in my life, you don't mess around my vibration. You're affecting my vibration. And people laugh, because I take it seriously. So give that a try, nurture your feelings, and then let them go. And if you need help with this, figuring out what your themes are, private message me and we'll go through it. It's really important to understand yourself in this way. I know I wrote about it in The Forgotten Friends, so maybe look in that section in the book and reread that too. And, it's all about self-soothing and getting back to a better place, a place of truth of who you really are and what you're really capable of doing and what you're really capable of being. And then when you're in a more being state, you will draw to you truly who you are, not who you are when you're triggered or negative. We don't want to draw the wrong things to us. Those negative things are not us. So we really don't want to draw that kind of life to ourselves. Okay, so give that a shot. All right, have a great day.